let's dive in. We have the Cardinals and the 49ers here. Little baby Kyler still hasn't grown up.
A little baby. Well, he hasn't won since we put him as little baby Kyler, so he can't get taller. He can't get bigger until he wins some games.
Yeah, he's got to win a little bit here. So this is a game that
I'm counting on little baby Kyler this week.
Absolutely, yeah. And you have, and the line is currently, you have it at 7 here. It's at 7.5.
7.5. Yep. So my bet of the week is at 7.5.
Correct, and that's what the line is currently at as we speak now, according to FanDuel Sportsbook. So then you look at the money line is now at 295, and then it is fluctuated for San Francisco minus 370 for them. Over under total set at 49.5. That is still the same as well. But we got a division rivalry in this matchup. Let's talk about it, Scotty. What do you like? You had this as one of your best bets of the week, and let us know why you like the team that you do.
Yeah, obviously, 49ers 1-2 start was surprising. They take care of business against a bad Patriots team at home like they should last week, and they're getting healthier. They're had some injuries. Obviously, Christian McCaffrey news this week that came out. Obviously, he hasn't played, but that came out this week makes it sound like it's even worse than we knew.
Yep.
He's got this like tendonitis in his Achilles in both legs. Like, I don't know how that happened. How does it happen in both?
The wear and tear over the years.
Sure. So with that, like who knows when we're going to see Christian McCaffrey and whether he'll be, I like every time I hear the word Achilles, like obviously you're panicking of like, once you tear that thing, you may never be the same player ever again. So you got to be careful with that.
Hey, Marie. Hey, how we doing?
Let's go.
Welcome.
Friend alert there.
I know, it's been a while. Marie's one of our old friends from when we started our show back in the day. Welcome in, Marie. Thank you for the 15 months. Twitch Prime sub. Thank you. And that goes to our sub goal, by the way. Hey.
Let's go.
Sub.
How you doing, Marie?
Sub
how's
for
life?
love.
How's life going? We've missed you around here.
All
Hope you're doing well.
Broncos
as Scott, I started Samaje P. Ryan, I think is what he's trying to say, and Steele on fantasy football, thinking they will destroy the Chargers, and Hunt gets the heavy load. I'm an idiot. I fire myself. To be fair, Hunt got the heavy load because Steele fumbled on the first drive of the game for the second consecutive week, so he might be done now. P. Ryan did get you tutty, at least. Hunt got the bulk of the carries, but P. Ryan at least got you a tutty.
yes.
But anyway, back to this Cardinals 49ers game. Yeah, you have a division opponent. You have a Cardinals team. Like, this is a monumental, like, to go to 1-4 would be, perhaps like maybe not coming back from that. Also, the timing of this game, Chris. You have a 49ers team that has to bounce back and play on the road at Seattle in a big game on Thursday following this week. So I get a division opponent more than a touchdown. The Cardinals have potential to score. They need to play better than they have, certainly offensively, the last couple of weeks. But I think they can, because they face the 49ers a lot, they're going to be familiar. They can keep this one without a touchdown, and the 49ers probably overlooking this game just a little bit because you have that turnaround on the road on Thursday. I love the Cardinals plus 7.5.
Broncos. Wait.
Broncos, you weren't following
You
before?
weren't following us before?
Really?
Okay. Well, welcome to the party. Well, welcome to the family, Broncos. It's only taken you, 3 years? It's fine.
STG, he's not on Call of Duty yet. The new game doesn't come out just yet.
Broncos was just he was
and then follow with a sub.
Hey,
sub in order to be, but he just resub. So I don't know I don't know how he's sub for 10 months without being a fall. I don't know how that works.
The
I don't
follow
know.
it is just how long they've been here, and then the sub is just consecutive months where he's been sub.
He was
Thank you.
He was feeling us out. He wasn't sure whether or not he wanted to jump on our bandwagon for the last 2.5 years, but I think he finally,
I got
lead.
that man Rocky's tickets years ago, if I remember correctly. Which
go.
I was happy to do.
Broncos, you're fine. Don't
Hope you had a tremendous time at that game.
Welcome in Milwaukee's. Yeah. Yeah, jury was still out.
Jury was still out. You gotta figure out whether you like us or not. And it could be a love-hate thing. I get it.
Yeah, I think this. Were you done on the San Francisco, Arizona?
Yeah. Go ahead,
So
Chris.
and it sucks for Christian McCaffrey. I said this on our last stream with Rec on a Thursday show, where it was like Christian McCaffrey feels like a 2001 or 2021 Lamborghini with 200,000 miles on it. Like, it just feels like he shouldn't have that much wear and tear, but here we are, and he's battling through. So either way, they are getting healthier in other ways. They have Kittle, they have Debo, they have some of these other guys that are getting on the upswing. So this is a road game in a division against a good opponent for the Cardinals. So it's, I think this is a tough spot. And then Arizona took a step back last week. But if you're telling me where I'm leaning on this one, I just feel the backdoor cover for Arizona is just always going to be alive. It's always going to be alive. Like, San Francisco should win this game, but like the division at home, I just think this is wide open for the Niners to get a decent lead, and then all of a sudden the Cardinals get a couple touchdowns towards the end of the game to make it a little closer than it actually was. So that being said, San Francisco should win this game. However, against the spread, it's not one of my bets of the week. I would lean Arizona 7.5, as long as you're getting that extra half point. So, Scotty, I'd be in agreement with you on that one.
Don't know whether to feel good about that or not, but I'll take
We
it.
were
Chris.
both
I'll
right
take
on. We were both right on Detroit. By the way, that Detroit.
Yep.
I hit my pick six pool for $650 this past week. Let's go.
There you go.
The drinks are on you. Got it.
Woo, I hit all 6 of my picks against the spread, so I cashed in. And I did well on the betting side just generally. So big week for me. But anyways,
Broncos real quick. We have come a long way, Scott, since then. Much better place now. Thank you. Hey, love to hear that. No, I was happy, dude. I was just joking with you, Broncos. But
My man.
yeah, that's awesome that you're in a much better place now, because I know that was a tough time. So that makes me thrilled for you and hope it continues that way, buddy.
We always support you guys. Every single time we're supporting our chat and our community. Rec, Doc, anything else you want to add to this Cardinals 49ers from your thoughts?
Go ahead, Rick. See.
We're clearly getting week 2 Cardinals to be. I mean, I thought that was obvious.
Yeah, I mean, no, for me, I think this is going to be a game where San Francisco is going to come out and prove a point, and they're going to come out and what's the status of McBride? Is McBride even going to play? I don't think, because he's in concussion protocol, isn't he?
He's a tough.
Hold on, let me fix it. Let me see.
No one can hear.
Hold on, give me a sec. Let me fix that. Let's see.
Thanks, Scotty. He figured it out. Darn.
Hold on.
It sounds like he was a limited participant today, which usually, if you're a limited participant on Wednesday, you get cleared by Friday to play. Okay. Typically.
That would be
a sure thing, but
that would be the biggest thing for me, is that if he clears, then this game will be a little bit closer. But I'm all over San Francisco in this game. I just think that Purdy and Mason are going to continue to do what they're doing. Mason's literally second in the league in rushing. He's looked good. CMC, who, obviously he's not CMC, guys, all right? But, I just think
offensive line helps a lot. But yes.
Right. Absolutely. But I just think that offense, I think they're going to get it more together here and involve Ayuk and Debo a little bit more. But I just think this is a week where, again, Rec did say, this is it depends on who shows up, but I just think that San Francisco, not that I'm going to say it's a blowout, but I definitely have them being at like a 28-13, 28-16 kind of game for San Fran. So it's not a blowout, but I just think that, the over under 49.5, it's
a big number.
That's a big number, I think for this game. I'm also going to lean on the under for this game. If you're not comfortable with the spread, I'm taking the under.
What's up, Sarah?
Hey,
how you doing?
Sarah, welcome back. Good to have you. Also,
she's like, ESPN has Arizona covering. No way. If you just joined, that's one of my bets of the week is Arizona plus 7.5. So good to see you, Sarah. But
welcome in, Sarah.
I hope you're wrong.
Marie asks, is Kelsey broken or just relaxing for the play? I think it's just relaxing for the playoffs. He'll have more run now that Rice is out. I think he'll have a little bit more of a target share and this has come out.
He had a decent. I mean, he had about 90 yards last Sunday. Yeah. So if they want to involve him, they can. But yeah, with Rice out, I don't know if that'll make it. They'll try and involve him a lot, but like he might get triple covered, Chris. I'm not sure.
That's true too. So yeah, we'll be touching on that game here in a little bit, Marie, for sure. Don't worry. And the Rapids just lost. I mean,
damn it, Rapids!
Come on,
damn it!
What are we doing,
bruh?
That's for those of you who don't know. That's a soccer team in Colorado.
Yeah.
Yeah, this season's going downhill rapidly.
Yeah. Okay.
Is it actually over?
No, I don't know.
Well, I just Googled it, and it says it's in like the 72nd minute. Don't they play 90?
Correct.
What's the score? It's what again?
It's 2-1 Galaxy.
Oh, we still got time.
But
there's plenty of time.
You're telling me there's a chance.
Plus, don't forget there's stoppage time too.
Yeah,
so it's 90 minutes plus stoppage time.
For sure, but maybe Google is just behind. I don't know.
Well, we'll keep tabs on it. Just like we're keeping tabs on the Atlanta Braves game too. The Braves, are they still
5-4? 5-4.
It's 5-4.
In the bottom of the eighth.
And Adam gave up a 2-run bomb, and the dude had a sub-2 ERA.
Don't call it a comeback. Let's go. Let's get another one that's going to game 3. All right. Cincinnati hosting Baltimore in this game here. Next up on our list. So the current spread, Baltimore 2.5-point favorites coming off, their last week, which looked pretty impressive. Now they're going to a division rival on the road. Total set at 50.5, which typically these two, teams in this division has grindy style games when they play each other. This one might have a little bit of a spin on that. I'll touch on that here in a little bit. Money line on this one, -142 for Baltimore, Cincinnati +120. This one is going to be a very interesting game, Scotty. I'll just jump in real quick.
Go home.
I think based off of what the Ravens did last week with the Bills, everything was kind of, we saw it on Sunday night here live in the Action Lab, just watching some of that game, some of it because we turned it off because it wasn't exactly super entertaining at that point. But I think there's a little bit of an overreaction with that win. And then the fact that Cincinnati is, still kind of getting its feet under them. Ravens are elite, but it's tough to win games on the road in the division, much less a divisional game against a good offense. And let's just be real. The Bengals have had a good offense. They just had a bad defense. Their defense has been awful. but they've been better on offense, and they've been able to move the ball and put up points in a lot of their games so far. So I just feel like this is a game where I feel like I keep saying Baltimore.
They're the Bengals.
The Bengals will play up and down to their competition a little bit. I think the division games at home is going to be a little bit more, they're going to come out to play a little bit. So as far as this team, I think both teams should be able to move the ball within the 20s. I think the red zone efficiency is where we're going to have some differentiation between these two teams, and that's going to be the key. But I don't have a best bet in this game necessarily. I do think that if I had 3 with Cincinnati, I would probably jump all over it. But given that this is 2.5, this is kind of a stay away from me. So I'm leaving it alone. I'm letting it go. I just think this is going to be a closer game than people think.
I too thought long and hard about. I wanted to pull the trigger on this game as one of my bets of the week. Similarly from the fact of like this is a massive game for the Bengals. It's important for both teams, obviously, but the Bengals at 1-3. If the Ravens get to 3-2 and you're 1-4, and then you have the Steelers that are up in front of you as well, like it's a lot of ground to make up moving forward. And you talked about it. I think the Bengals play to the level of their competition and like step up in big moments and big games. So I think I certainly lean the side of the Bengals here, but saying that, the Ravens have played better football than the Bengals this year. I mean, the Bengals have been pretty solid offensively, but defensively they've been a disaster. Essentially just not good at all on the defensive side of the ball. So can they step up? Obviously, this is a different style offense they're going to play. They're familiar with the Ravens, clearly being a division opponent, and what they're going to try and run with Lamar. I think the Bengals actually win this game. I do, but I also just don't like the Bengals or the Ravens, so I didn't want to bet on either side. I didn't want to bet on the Bengals because it would kind of be fascinating to see them at 1-4 as well.
Yeah. So it sounds like we were both kind of high on the Bengals in this game then. Bengals money line, plus 120. I didn't notice this, but the under total dropped. It's not 50.5, and it's 48.5. 2 full points since this graphic was made. So that's interesting too. And
I'll say this is the perfect time to bet against the Ravens. Sunday night, national TV, they dominate the Bills. They're overvalued right now. No doubt about that.
1,000%.
Overvalued.
Yep. It's an overreaction from a massive win against a good Buffalo team. And I think there's a lot of trap surrounding this. It feels trappy. Thinking, oh man, I could get Baltimore minus 2.5 against Bengals, like 2 teams. Like I think that you might want to second guess what's happening here. Just tell me. Just tell Lamar
Chairman
it's a
says,
playoff game.
Just tell Lamar. Chairman, I'm surprised you're here right now. How you doing? You got 3 outs to manufacture something. Put something together here for the Braves. But Marie's here, Chairman, though. Yeah. So she's excited you're here. Marie's just getting like old friend alerts all the time. She's like, "Oh,
yeah, we're crushing tonight.
Chairman,
it's like a reunion tonight. It's a reunion." Guys, we are subbing for love too, guys. We have 8 subs on the road to 20. Once we hit 20, we're going to build a dating profile for Reckoning on stream live.
For love.
And we are going to, create it. We're going to put pictures. We're going to fill out the profile. So we need to get 12 more subs by next Wednesday. But don't wait. Let's just knock it out early, and we'll do a community night. We'll do that. So that'll be a lot of fun. All right.
Chairman, I'm pulling out all the superstitions. I can't mess up the routine by not being here. Got it. No, that makes sense. That checks out. I wish you nothing but the best here as we enter the top of the 9th inning. 5-4. Padres over the Braves. Braves season on the line as we speak.
All All right. And guys, in the background, Rec and Doc, if you feel like popping in at any point, just jump in. But
I mean, this is a NFC North or AFC North battle.
yeah.
NFC. Wow, we
I
made
don't
the
know.
Wow.
Don't know why I said that. If you guys want
NFC
to
North
hop
is
in on
suddenly
this one,
good now.
are you guys?
Yeah, right.
Are you guys cheering for the Bengals because they have the worst record in this one?
I hope they both lose.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing.
I-
But no,
yeah,
I,
I
mean,
guess-
Go ahead, Rick. You got it.
I guess they'd probably root more for the Bengals because they're slightly more likable. They at least have a quarterback that has an idea of how to throw a football.
All right, all right.
No,
And
I
this is
mean,
also their last year because we keep mentioning it. Like if the Bengals don't do it this year, it's never going to happen.
They have some financial situations on
Yeah.
the horizon.
They
This
Yeah,
year, have a nice day.
I take a look at this game, and I happen to see, like you said, the Buffalo game was, I feel like, a trap for them. But Baltimore, if they can run the ball and Derrick Henry gets downhill, you're gonna have to. It's gonna be trouble for Cincy because Baltimore's just gonna continue to get the ball, and they're just gonna run the ball. They're gonna take the air out of the ball, and you're gonna make Joe to have to make throws. Not saying that he can't do it because we all know how good Joe Burrow is, but this is an AFC North battle. I don't see this being a high-scoring game, and I don't see how this is even close to being a 48 and whatever you said it was, if it was 48 or 48 and a half. I think this is going to be a 24-21 at most type of game. These two teams hate each other just like we all do in the North. But I do see Cincy's offense has woken up. That's good for them, but running the ball takes more off the clock than throwing the ball. So I just think that if the Ravens get up, you're going to see them take the air out of the ball completely, and they're just going to continue to do it like they did against Buffalo and just eat the clock and just run it down their throats.
By the way, the only time they lost by more than 3, the Cincinnati Bengals lost by more than 3 points against Baltimore in the last 3 years was when Joe Burrow couldn't continue down 10-7 in the last meeting. So, I mean, these games are close. They're close.
What I'm saying. Yeah.
So keep in mind,
I think the Bengals win on Sunday. I do. I don't even know. I don't want either. I'm kind of with you guys. I don't want either team to win.
I don't. I'd rather them tie. I'd rather them tie than anything.
If this gets to 3, by the way, if this number ticks up to Cincinnati +3, I'm all over it. Done. Cashing it.
Oh yeah, you would have to at that point.
I'm cashing it. All right. So there you go. Ravens Bengals could be. Keep an eye on this one this weekend, ladies and gentlemen. It could be a good one. All right. Next up, Bills and Texans. Bills. We just talked about the Bills in their last outing with the Ravens. How they probably are needing to get something going here after that loss. And then the Houston Texans are an interesting team as well. They had a little bit of a battle last week, but currently Buffalo sitting at -1 in this one. I think the line is still around that. It was like 1.5, kind of bouncing around a little bit. Let me double check and make sure that that's still around what it was. Why can't I find it? 1.5 now. So Houston is a 1.5 point underdog at home against the Buffalo Bills. The money line is exactly the same for both teams, -108 now. Both of them are -108. And the over-under is at 47.5. So that still applies to this one. But, Scotty, let's dive into Buffalo-Houston.
Yeah, real quick. Braves down to their last out. Nobody on. Chairman, they teased you with that first liner to center that the center fielder almost misplayed, but didn't work out. Anyway,
The
Bills,
season
Texans-
rides on Gio Urshela.
as it always should. Bills at Texans. This is another bet of the week for me, Chris.
Yep.
And this is, well, it's kind of to do with both teams, but I think it's a good time to take the Bills because just like the Ravens, bad time to take the Ravens after crushing the Bills on Sunday night.
Yep.
I don't think the Bills are as bad as people now view them. I think the Texans right now are massively overrated. I think they were hyped coming into the
Agreed.
season, and I didn't even mind that hype necessarily. but they haven't played up to that hype. I know they're 3-1, and so record-wise, it looks good. But I don't know that the Texans have played very good football at all. You look at their, they won by 2 against Indy in a game that could have gone either way. Really, the Jacksonville game last week could have gone either way.
Season over.
Season over for the Braves.
Sorry, breaking
sorry,
news.
Chairman. Very, very
Travis
sorry.
Garneau came in the pinch hit. Very first pitch, popped it up. Catcher got it.
Hate to see it. Sorry, Chairman.
Rough end to the season. Sorry, Chairman. It could be worse. You could be a Rockies fan.
Yep.
And then they beat the Bears in unconvincing fashion while getting blown out by the Vikings 2 weeks ago. So this Texans team is relying on hype. I think Bronco said Diggs might be motivated. I almost think of that as a bad thing. Diggs motivated means Diggs wants ball. Diggs wants ball. Like, he's like, give me ball. And if I don't get ball, I'm going to be yelling at you on the sideline. And that could almost be a distraction for the Texans in this one. I think the Bills are a better team. They played better football. I know it wasn't pretty last week. But prior to that, they were playing some pretty damn good ball, obviously. I think Buffalo bounces back. I think Buffalo wins this game. And takes care of business against the Texans team. I think that people are a little overvaluing based off of just the excitement of CJ Stroud and Diggs and Nico Collins and all those offensive pieces, but not realizing that they actually haven't played very well this year, even though they're 3-1.
Yeah. I think if I had to lean in this one, I don't have a best bet or I don't have a pick in this game, but I would lean more towards Buffalo. They're favored on the road for a reason. Typically teams after big blowout, good teams after big blowouts come back and they do their best to get back on track. So I expect them to do that. The one thing I'm worried about Buffalo is like their defense is a little banged up. Like they just, with the passing attack with Nico Collins, who slows him down. And I just think that this might be a little bit tougher of a grindy game for them to win this game. I still think they win the game. I just worry a little bit. Both teams should score for sure, and it's just whether or not they can outlast.
This is
the
almost a surprisingly low total. Actually.
Yeah, and I almost feel like I would lean over in this one, but
I mean it's not that low of a number, but like with these two teams, and feels like it's going to be a back and forth game a little bit.
Yeah, so I'm with you. I'm leaning Buffalo on just winning this game outright, but the defense scared me too much for Buffalo for me to even mess around with this game. But I like your side there, Scotty. So Stephon Diggs reminds me of that miserable coworker that you tread lightly around. Probably, yeah, exactly.
I wouldn't even
Roger.
around him.
Yeah,
I just avoid him completely.
Right.
If I were to work.
Yeah. But there you go.
I mean,
yeah. Go ahead.
Sorry. I mean, I take a look at this game and I have two questions, mostly for the Houston side. And is Tank Tail going to be healthy because he's questionable with a chest injury? And can they run the football? Because since week one, they have not been able to run the football very well. And this is a Buffalo team where you got to be multifaceted with your offense, or they're going to swallow you up. So I see Buffalo -1. And I'm thinking to myself, like, why? How is it only 1? Like, the Texans are 3-1, but they have not looked good. Like you said, Scotty, and like you said, Chris, like I agree with both of you. But I, as someone that has Nico Collins in fantasy, I'm very thankful. But the rest of the team as a whole has not played very well, and I don't see how this spread is only -1. I don't.
Yeah, it's interesting. Doug, does Von's absence mean anything? I don't think so. I mean, he's past his prime. We all know that.
He's a rotational player.
He has had a nice start to the season. But I mean, he's been injury after injury, and he's just lost a step. Is he effective and could he help your team? Yes, but I mean, he's been in the league for a while. He's got a lot of tread on those tires, and it's part of it for him. So, yeah. So there you go.
A fun game to watch, though.
Absolutely. By the way, James Cook I think his rushing total was around 57.5. I think I would smash the over on that. I think that he has.
I actually did.
I think he'll have some success in this game. I don't really get into props very often for the NFL. It's rare, but just something to keep. I saw that it intrigued me a little bit.
Keep close says I would have expected the line to be Houston -3.5. I mean, okay. I mean, Houston's been
If you
outscored by 15 points this year, overall, and their wins are by 2, 4, and 6 against Colts, Bears, and Jags. But if you think it should be 3.5, that's interesting.
Yeah,
I would disagree.
Yep.
With that.
So there you go. All right. So
On the other end, Josh Allen for MVP. Just thank you.
Yeah, he's got to be the front runner for MVP at this point.
if he can carry him, I mean, he's got a
Sam
heavy load.
Sam Darnold.
Rager, what's going on? Are you talking about Ravens and Bengals? We did.
We just did.
We just finished talking about them. Well,
Who's your team?
Who's your team? Yeah, where are you from? Who's your team? Like to get to know you a little bit. Welcome in. Good to have you here. But yeah, ask any questions. Also we'll be uploading these videos to YouTube. So if you miss it tomorrow, it'll be live on YouTube. So go check that out as well. Rec, can you put the YouTube channel?
All right.
Let's go.
Thank you for the follow.
Rager
La Flame.
Giants, my team. All right. Fair enough. I love it.
Oh, there you go, Sarah. You got another Giants fan.
Another Giants fan there for you, Sarah.
You guys can enjoy your. I'll get to that. Never mind. You guys might want to listen. Actually,
you might want to stick around for what Scotty might have an interesting take on the Giants game here coming up. So
yeah,
just hang around a little bit. But first, let's get to the Steelers.
Hell yeah.
Hosting the Cowboys. This weekend, we got the Steelers 2.5 points favorites. And actually, this dropped to 1.5. So this current line is 1.5 in favor of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Money line, -136 for the Steelers. Dallas is +116 to win the game outright. And the over-under is 43.5 now. So this game is going to be maybe a little tighter than people think, but I'll let the Pittsburgh Steeler fans get us going and started on this particular game.
Hold on, before they do that, SCG. Oh boy, wake me up in 30 minutes when Sub for Love Love Man finishes. If he can go 30 minutes, we're putting that in the profile.
I'm going first real quick. So
Good for you, Rec.
Yeah, Rec. Yeah, let's give it up for Rec. Yeah.
Hey, it gets
spicy.
Yeah.
Good for you, Rec. No, but
I hate all of you.
I know you do. But this game, we were favored at 2.5, now 1.5. I mean, it's interesting. I mean, maybe people are starting to have a little faith in Justin Fields in the offense. Maybe we go out and get Devontae Adams at some point. But
hell yeah,
that would be nice. But I actually have stats on his contract, and it's not going to be cap friendly. But
the next couple of years,
no. But this total being 44, have they ever watched us play? Is it all going to be on Dallas's side? Is it going to be 44-0 or what? Like,
I mean, we did get 51. We did get 51 last week.
No, I know, but I'm joking. But I think this is going to be a matchup where we take a look and really see, because you got Micah Parsons and TJ Watt, so that's going to be one of the storylines.
Micah's out.
Micah's not going to play.
Is he out?
Micah and Tank Lawrence. So maybe part of the 44 is the fact that the two starting defensive ends for the Cowboys both not going to play in this game.
Yeah.
Micah's not out. Tank's definitely out. Micah's
essentially out. Dexter Lawrence is on. No. Lawrence. No, what's his name?
Tank Lawrence.
Yeah. But anyway, I think
he's called Tank Lawrence. Okay.
No,
I've never heard that.
You've never heard Tank Lawrence?
No, whenever I hear Tank, I hear either Tank Dell or Tank Bigsby.
Okay, well, Can't help you there, Rick. I'll put it in a meme so you've heard it.
Yeah, that's the only way he's gonna get a reference.
Roger.
But
Yeah.
I think this is going to be the put up or shut up for Justin Fields. I think this week was last week a fluke. Was last week not a fluke? Is he going to be able to continue to do what he did and put the offense on his back? I know Chairman said some stuff in the Discord, but it's like without him last week, we would not have been in the game at all, even down to that bad snap or whatever you want to blame it on. Bad starts. It was just a mixture of things. But this is a game where you got to come out from the kick, ready to go, ready to take it to them, because if not, it's going to be similar to Indy, and Dallas is much better than Indy. So, it'll be interested to see how we do against CeeDee Lamb. It's interesting to see if we can stop the run this week. There's just a lot of questions that I have. It was just a lot that the offense has to get fixed. It wasn't butt cheeks, considering if it wasn't for him at all, we wouldn't have scored. Literally 2 rushing touchdowns, a passing touchdown, our first 300 yards passing in literally 2 years. Regardless if it's garbage time or not, we fought till the end. But, this is a team that's 3-1. Nobody thought would be 3-1. This is a game you have to win based off of our schedule the second half of the season. Get these wins no matter how you can get them the next couple of weeks, because the second half of the playoffs the second half of the season is going to be a nightmare.
It's like for both of these teams, injuries are concerned. We talked about Lawrence and Micah Parsons. They're also without Brandon Cooks for the game. Trayvon Diggs is banged up. I haven't seen his stats yet, so I guess he'll play, but he's probably not going to be 100% healthy. It's probably not completely healthy there. On the Steelers end, it's like, yay, we get Isaac Seumalo back at guard. We just lose our other starting guard for the season, James Daniels. To add on to that, at running back, it sounds like it's not confirmed, but it sounds like Jalen Warren and Cordero Patterson would both be out. So the guy behind Najee is going to be Aaron Shamklin, which if anyone watched me and Riley stream for the preseason, not a huge fan of that. That's going to be an issue. Because I'd say on the defensive side for the Steelers, last week they played a lot of soft zone. You can't do that against that. I mean, you couldn't do it against Indy, but you can't do that against Dallas. Dak is a guy that's willing to take the short, easy throws. If you want to disrupt CeeDee Lamb, we gotta have Joey Porter play Joey Porter football. Press coverage, get in your face, don't let him get in his routes. We gotta get there on that front. And then even though Nick Herbick's still trying to work his way into being comfortable as a starter, you gotta unleash him against the Cowboys' rookie left tackle. He had a lot of holding calls the other game. You gotta get him uncomfortable, especially with 3 guys holding TJ Watt every play. Offensively, you gotta see what Justin.
Did somebody put a clock on Rick?
No, I'm laughing at him. Oh, I didn't. I wasn't even. I was just laughing at Rex comment, but that's also good, Bronco.
Yeah.
Gotta go full 30 minutes. You don't want to let the ladies down.
He's got the cane to yank him off the stage at some point.
Yeah.
Do we need the music for the what should we call it, the award show music? Yeah.
Yeah, but offensively again, like Doug said, type of if Justin Fields can build off that last performance. I said last week, I think he's shown a lot of growth, especially with his ability to handle making a mistake. That's probably his big one, but I mean, without the running game being a big factor, Najee hasn't been good as of late. So without that factor being in there, you have to rely a lot on Justin Fields to not really win you the game, but at very least keep you in the game with his arm. I mean, he showed the ability to do that last week, but he's got to be able to do it again. He's got to, like I said, I love what I saw out of him last week, but now's the chance to see if he can start doing it consistently.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'll be quicker on this one as well. Probably Scotty will too. We both have a best bet in this game, and we actually teased Dallas up. This was at 2.5. So we were able to tease it up along with another game, both of which Scotty, you have one other game. We have
we have different
different
combined games.
combined games, but
this one's the same.
Dallas is the common denominator. I mean, this is going to be one of those low scoring, kind of just struggles, I think, in some aspects. I lean a lot of the unders in this one as well. Under 44 is what I would take the under. I feel it's like a 17-16, 2017 kind of game, somewhere in that range. And for this, Dallas is beat up defensively. You guys talked a lot about the injuries, right?
Yeah.
But it should be competitive. And I feel like I don't picture Pittsburgh winning this game in blowout fashion by any means, especially with the total being at least what we think is going to be on the lower side. That being said, I would if this was at 2.5 still, I would lean Dallas plus 2.5, but it's not there anymore, which is why I teased it. Now it's down to 1.5, and I wouldn't touch it normally on either side on that side of things at this point. But Scotty, I think I would still lean Dallas if this were at the 2.5 point spread, if we're just taking it from what it was.
We agree on our tease bet, Chris, but I don't think we agree on a lot else in this game. Dallas has not played good football outside of week 1, where defensively they look really good, and they played better defensively last week. Also got fortunate at times
Against the Giants.
Correct, against the Giants. You have a Dallas team that now is losing their 2 edge rushers. You're already down one of your top 2 corners in Deron Bland, who hasn't played this year. That's 3 of your top 4 defensive players. I lean the over in this game. I think Pittsburgh's going to be able to score against this Dallas defense that finally stopped the run at least last week. I might sneeze. Sorry if I do, guys.
Bless you.
No,
Stuck.
I stopped it. It was coming, and I don't know how I stopped it.
Can I just say, is that I
You
feel
went
like
edgy?
when I don't get it out, I feel like it's almost a worse feeling.
I don't know how that happened. It was for sure.
I said
coming
bless you. I said bless you before you sneezed.
before I sneezed. and
I
that did
feel
it.
Yeah.
like I feel FOMO
Good to
if
know.
I don't get my sneeze out. I feel like I missed out, and I'm like, I'm never gonna get that sneeze back.
I'll never remind me to never say it before you sneeze.
Oh
then,
my
okay?
gosh, it makes me feel uncomfortable afterwards, and I'm just like, I missed it. I missed it.
Also, Marie, everyone here can vouch for me. I am all aboard the Justin Fields train.
Oh,
I don't want to see
that's
Russell
not-
Wilson on the
and
field.
that is so unfortunate for Justin.
What are you?
I
An
can't
idiot
express
sandwich.
that.
Let's go Fields.
Listen, one thing I will say is if you haven't picked up Boswell yet in any fantasy leagues, money or not, I would recommend picking him up because he has been solid for us, and I don't foresee us scoring a lot of touchdowns, but I foresee us getting into field goal range a lot. So just keep that on
Boswell's
the
a
back
top-
burner.
He's a top 3 kicker in the league for sure. You
Correct.
got Avia 1, and then
I
you got
don't-
like him and
I would-
Butker at
I
2,
would-
3.
I would argue it's not for sure. Thus far this season, maybe you could say that. Overall, I don't.
Yeah.
Hey,
Boswell's had some issues through the years.
Doc. Doc,
Yes, sir.
in 20 seconds or less,
Oh boy.
I need your thoughts on Fields being the guy in your future
Okay.
promised land. He's gonna take you to the promised land.
Okay. Am I starting now? All right.
Starting now.
I just think that what else do you have? You have an injured Wilson. He carried the team last year. The last game, he showed promise. Continue to keep the ball in his hands, make decisions, kind of like that they're doing in Baltimore with Lamar Jackson in the run game. And as long as he doesn't make mistakes, there you go.
Do you endorse him as
you're-
your?
Hold on. Your
What?
argument for him being the guy to take you to the promised land is like, what else do you have? And don't make mistakes.
Yeah,
Okay.
because that's where we're at.
So
Are we not?
he's
I'm not saying that's wrong, but that just seems like a really sad
I'm
thing.
Scotty. You know I'm a realistic fan
Yeah,
here. I'm not
yeah.
wreck.
I mean, I know he had good stat line last week, but for 2.5 quarters, he played really
Right.
bad,
The whole-
and then he played
the whole
really
team
good
did.
for a
The
quarter
whole
and a
team
half.
did though. It wasn't just him.
Sure.
The whole team did.
Sure.
So what I'm saying is, as long as he doesn't lose the game and shows that throw, like the magic that he had with Pickens, and getting the ball downfield and not being afraid to use his legs to keep defenses honest, I think we'll be okay. I'm not expecting him to throw for 404 touchdowns like Ben did a lot. He's not Ben. He's Justin Fields. He's a much quicker guy. Get him comfortable with his throws. Check it down to Peppermint Patty. Then send it deep to Pickens. Like, it worked. We just can't turn the ball over and be stupid like as a team we did against Indy. We put ourselves in a hole because the whole team sucked. It wasn't just Fields doing this or that, or it wasn't just like missed hold calls or anything like that on either side. Didn't matter. Whole team played bad. You can't do that. It's the NFL. So this week, you tone down the turnovers and you play football and you let Fields not lose the game by letting him play, we'll be okay.
Yeah, and Dallas's defense, to be honest, has just been
It's been awful.
not been
Right.
good.
I watched their game against the Giants. I was not impressed.
No, they haven't played very well. They haven't necessarily forced turnovers yet a ton. I know Trayvon Diggs got one, but and offensively, they can't run the ball. The Cowboys cannot run. They're like the worst running team in the league.
Now, because logic, they're somehow getting 90 yards against us.
Maybe. And then you're basically looking at CeeDee Lamb trying to carry that offense, when you can't run the ball, along with Jake Ferguson's fine at tight end, and Jalen Tolbert's been a nice piece for them.
Right.
But when you look at a lot of their stats, like all their offensive stats in the Baltimore game it seemed like garbage time, and then it all of a sudden turned into a legitimate where they had a chance to win, but couldn't pull it off. But offensively, they haven't looked great. Defensively, they haven't looked great. I think the Steelers should win this game based off of how Dallas has played this far, and that hurts me to say. I want Dallas to win this game, obviously, but
right.
Dallas hasn't played well this week.
Well, and then you throw a hot seat on Mr. McCarthy if they lose this game too, because that's not going to be a pretty situation in Dallas, losing to the Steelers here and having the start to the season that they've had. All right, we good to move on?
Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead. Let's get to the next one. Raiders and Broncos.
I'll be back.
What a game!
What a game! Let's go. Raiders Broncos here. Denver minus 2.5. So they're 2.5 point favorites at home against the Raiders. Total is 36. I think this dropped to 35.5 as well. Las Vegas plus 120 on the money line. Denver minus 142 on the money line to win. Just straight up. This game is it's kind of all over the place, right? Crosby and Devontae Adams are issues. One of them is requested a trade and probably won't play, Devontae Adams. So I doubt he's going to be in the mix,
he's not gonna play.
Which obviously is the number one weapon offensively for them. Crosby is kind of up in the air, so we don't know, and that kind of affects a little bit of this too because he's a force, right? So I think at this level, I think this is ticked down to 35.5. I don't know. It seems a little low for a couple teams. Well, I feel like the Broncos defense has played very, very well so far. I don't know. It seems a little weird to me that it's I don't know. We'll see. I'm not touching it by any means. However, 2 big road wins for Denver leading into this week. And they do have some confidence against the Raiders team that's dealing with a lot of stuff off the field and a lot of injuries and things along those lines. So Denver feels like the right side here. It's not one of my best bets, but I would lean Denver minus 2.5 at home against the Raiders team. This is a big, big game for the Broncos. This is the Super Bowl, unfortunately for us, because we haven't beat them in recent memory, and they have a nice little winning streak. I think is it 7 or 8 games at this point?
It's 8, Chris.
It's 8. So 8 games coming in here, and this just feels like Denver's got to take care of business against a team that they probably should beat, especially the defense slowing down this Raiders offense without their top weapon, and the fact that they, still are the Raiders and struggle a little bit. So that being said, My lean would be Denver -2.5 at home in this situation. Just get in, get a win, and get out.
The amount of disrespect the Raiders get after winning 8 straight against the Broncos, they're still 2.5-point dogs. Clearly, Vegas was very impressed by the 60-yard passing game of Bo Nix last week. No, I get it. The Raiders have a lot of stuff going off the field. Well, one thing going off the field with Devontae Adams and all that trade stuff. And it sounds like he probably wasn't hurt last week and didn't play and won't play this week. So,
this is one of those situations where it's like all of a sudden it's James Harden. Every time he gets traded, he's all of a sudden miraculously better for this next team. He's like, oh, hamstring issue? No hamstring issues. What are you talking about?
Good.
It's a trap.
It's a trap.
I mean, the Broncos did get a win last week in ugly fashion, 10-9, in a game where it was almost like the Jets shot themselves in the foot just as much as anything with, like, I think they had, like, 13 penalties in
They
that
were
game.
not, yeah.
That game was a mess.
Couldn't
all
block
around.
Aaron Rodgers. I know there was some rain, but, like, holy shit, people. This is the NFL. We can play through a little rain, I think, but apparently not. That game was an abomination and should have. That should be, if we send something to Mars soon, that should go first. Or not even Mars. Send it to, like, Saturn or Uranus. Actually, Uranus. Send it to Uranus. That's where that game should go. Straight up to Uranus. Because it was ass, Chris. It was an ass.
Ass.
Sing it.
SCG, I just saw a commercial for Red Lobster cheddar biscuits. Please ship some. Yeah, well, I don't even. Are there Red Lobsters around us? Doesn't matter. This game, I do have as one of my bets of the week, but I teased the Raiders up to 8.5. I mean, the Broncos are only going to score probably 1 touchdown in this game. The Raiders should be able to stay within 8.5 at least, if not get their win streak against the Broncos to 9 straight. Which would be hilarious, but I do. That's the other part of my tease with the Cowboys up to 8.5, Raiders up to 8.5. So keep those games close, you boys. All right, last 2 games. Max Crosby will be, if he plays. I mean, I think that is a huge factor. Obviously, that's the best player on the Raiders team. They did get a win, but it wasn't pretty last week either against a Cleveland team that's struggling. So both teams are 2-2, and they feel so much worse than that, Chris.
Yeah, and also too, Vegas defense 30th in yards per rush, which will help take pressure off of Bo Nix if the passing game, and the Broncos moving the ball.
I'm sorry, defensively. You mean defensively yards per rush?
Vegas defense is 30th in yards per rush.
Okay. Maybe you said defense. I might have missed that.
Yeah. So, I just think at this point, the Broncos offensive line, the running game has been able to get a little bit more fluid as this season has gone on as well. So, that. So I think that the offensive line and the running game can do some damage against this Vegas defense. And I think that might be a big key to this as well. So we'll see. We'll see what ends up happening. But I like the tease up. Obviously, I don't think there's going to be... I don't see the Broncos winning in some blowout fashion either. So, Maria, those are broken a little bit. So we're working on those. We'll get those sound effects fixed. For sure. I keep saying it. I promise we'll get there. All right, next up. Saints at Chiefs. Let's dive into it, Scotty. Right now, currently, this line has changed a little bit back and forth. This has been 5. It's been 5.5. It was up to 6 early on, and then it dropped down a little bit back to 5.5. So now back at currently 5.5. Over-under set at 43.5. The New Orleans Saints plus 205 on the money line. And the Chiefs opposite, minus 250 on the money line. So, Scotty, dive into your Chiefs, obviously dealing with a lot of injuries. So are many teams. But last week's kind of stung when it came to Rashee Rice. By the way, side note, did you see the weird Cuban Benny's going to love this one. Did you see the weird story of Rashee Rice's mom stealing packages from someone's apartment, and then she had her jersey on that said Rice's mama or Mama Rice? Like it was like Mama Rice on the back. So it's not like we can't identify her. And there's this weird, like, I don't know there's this like social media person that I just heard of this past week that I'm like, who is this person? Anyways, that's a weird story. Chapel Ronan or whatever it is, whoever that is, not sure. The headline had me crying. Yeah, it was the Chiefs always have some weird shit going down outside of the field. It's always something.
I mean, to be fair, if this was like any other team, I don't think this would be on TMZ, but it's because it's the Chiefs that it is. I don't know if other people care about it. It's weird. It's bizarre. Like,
it's super bizarre.
Why are you stealing packages? I mean, it was after the game on Sunday. Maybe she was in a state of distress or very intoxicated, Chris, or something. I don't know, because it was literally on Sunday after Rice obviously got the injury. Speaking of Rice, though, Chris, after reports were that the Chiefs really thought he tore his ACL, now there's been, obviously they've come out and said like, oh, we're getting second opinions. I've seen tweets that like, it wasn't a torn ACL and they're waiting for swelling to go down to see how long it's going to take for him to get back, but he should be back this year. Mahomes today even said in his presser, hopefully we get Rashee back this year. Which, listen, right now we're without, like you said, everyone's dealing with injuries. I would like you to find, Chris, a team that's without their number one wideout, their number two wideout, and their starting running back. Go ahead and look that up. Go find that, Chris.
The Rams don't have the running back
starting
issue.
Running back.
The Rams don't have the running back issue. No.
Okay.
But the Rams do have their number one, number two out.
Okay.
So
they're 1-3.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay. As Sarah, is Hunt starting? I think Hunt will get the bulk of carries. It'll be interesting if they involve Steele at all at this point. I would prefer them not. You fumble twice and you're done in Andy Reid's book. Samaje Perine will still get some carries and some third down stuff. So, but that's what they're looking at. Wide receiver wise, listen, the one good news is like, yes, they're without their number one and number two now, but like, if what the reports about Rice that I've heard are true, both Rice and Brown should be back for the playoffs. So while they'll be gone, as long as we make the playoffs, both those guys should be back, and that should be interesting and fascinating to watch. But the offense might struggle. I don't know. This could be a game where Andy just dials up some weird stuff because he has to. You have Xavier Worthy that has to get into the limelight now. He was supposed to be their number 3, and all of a sudden he's got to come to the forefront. Did have a nice 55-yard touchdown last week, but he's going to have to get consistent. And the game-winning catch that sealed the game for them to run out the clock on a third down crosser. Broncos. So Adams will be a Chiefs. I don't think Devontae Adams will. Could they make a move for a wide receiver? Yes. It's not going to be Devontae Adams. And it's also not going to be Tyreek Hill. I've heard that's nonsense out there.
That won't happen.
Scotty.
It'll either be noteworthy in like the sense of like a Amari Cooper or D-Hop, or it'll be just like old friend alert and they trade for like DeMarcus Robinson from the Rams. Like it won't be
a splash
if and especially if they think Rice can come back. Then I don't think they'll make a huge splash, but maybe a minor splash in the interim just to tread water on offense, because that's a lot of weapons that they thought they improved the offense with, and that now they're in a worse situation than they were last year at wide receiver right now. So from a Saints perspective, started off red hot, hottest team in the league for 2 weeks, back-to-back L's in close games that could have gone either way against the Eagles and Falcons the last 2 weeks. I think they're going to want to make a point. I will say that the Chiefs kind of own Derek Carr and I think know how to play against Derek Carr and create pressure. And if you create pressure against Derek Carr, he's going to be a mess. But maybe that opens up screen game to, Alvin Kamara pictured here. I mean, I would lean Saints plus 5.5. I really would. Hopefully, I just want the Chiefs to win. Chiefs also have a big game against the Niners next week. And this one's Monday night, so I think they'll take it seriously. But yeah, I would lean Saints plus 5.5.
Yeah, I think this has been all. This opened up at 6.5. It was down to 4.5 at its lowest point. So people have been betting this all over the place, up and down, and it's been just fluctuating. And so I don't know. There's something about the Kansas City Chiefs at home in prime time. I feel like that's significant for them in a way that they show up for those types of games. If this spread was maybe 4.5, 5, I would be more inclined to go Chiefs, but it's 5.5. That's kind of where it settled in. Whereas where I would lean more towards the Saints, kind of like you are. But Derek Carr struggles at times, especially when he gets pressure. And that's what's going to be happening with him with Chris Jones up the middle. He just doesn't perform very well. I lean slightly towards the Saints, but from the spread standpoint.
By the way, right now, Chris Jones should be the front runner for defensive player of the
year. He's a baller.
Come at me, Rec. Come at me.
One thing that is of note, 90% of the public money is on the Chiefs money line, which is quite substantial. So there's a lot of money coming in on the Chiefs money line, which maybe makes you think even more towards that Saints getting that extra point and just even outright, again, plus 210, getting about 2-1 on your money with a Saints money line pick. But I don't know if I'd go that far. Again, Chiefs, prime time at home. It's hard to go against Patrick Mahomes, regardless of who's playing in that offense. And
Pat's got to be better. Pat has not been good.
To
his standard this year thus far.
Correct.
And they're one of the 2 undefeated teams. I can't fully explain it, to be honest. Diacola says Chiefs first loss, Mahomes will throw 2 picks. To be fair, Diacola has been picking Chiefs losses for years now.
It just keeps piling up.
So, sure. Maybe they could. They certainly could lose this game.
Yeah. So there you go. Chiefs, Saints.
I got a question for you, Scotty.
Yeah.
So say we get down to closer to the trade deadline and Rice isn't back. Do you take the risk then on making a bigger splash for agency or to trade for Adams or another receiver? What do you think? Because at that point, it wouldn't be too substantial to take him for the year.
I mean, it probably is on 2 variables. What's our record and how's the offense looked without Rice? Because Rice won't be back before the trade deadline. Even it may not be a torn ACL, but it's still a substantial injury where he won't be back. Probably best case scenario to I don't know. Best case is probably 6 weeks. And maybe I'm wrong. Who knows? I'm not.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think that would make you guys such a more dynamic offense because you'd have him out there. It'd be like having Tyreek, and with your injuries at wide receiver, it wouldn't hurt. You know what I mean?
No,
he's dynamic.
I think if the offense looks bad and we start losing some games, you have to make a move. If we're able to tread water, the offense looks okay because we piece some things together, and then we have the knowledge that Rice and Brown will be back. Maybe you don't, or maybe it's just a Demarcus Robinson move, a guy that played with Mahomes for years that we could get on the cheap for probably a 7th rounder or something,
right?
And something like that, just to add a body that's familiar with the Chiefs' offense and Mahomes that's been here before.
Cool.
There you go. All right.
So Chiefs by $1 billion, in the words of Scotty.
I did not say that. I did not say that. I said I lean Saints plus 5.5.
Thank you, Peace and Grease, for the follow. And
Yeah, peace and grease.
let's go. Welcome in. Who's your team and where are you from? Like to get to know you a little bit. Welcome to the lab. By the way, guys, if you're following or hanging out with us, hit that follow button just like Peace and Grease did. We are always hanging out. We also have our Discord server. If you ever want to join that, we're always talking sports when we're not online. And we are live every Wednesday, Thursday, and Sunday. Eagles. Go Eagles. 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 I can still spell. There you go. Welcome in.
Well, you also could just read the letters.
I could, but the
Ooh.
spacing.
Doc, gifting a sub. We're getting closer to that sub for love.
Peace is my boy, so I had to hook him
Hey, there we go.
Ah,
Sub
gotcha.
for love. There we go. We're almost
Leslie.
halfway to the sub for love-a-thon. Let's go. We are going to be making our moderator rec a community night staple here coming up here very soon. We're going to create if we hit our goal of 20 subs, we are going to create a dating profile for our on live stream for our
can't wait
moderator
for
rec. It's going to be incredible.
Wonderful mod rack.
It's going to be fantastic.
We're here for you.
We're here for you.
Tinder, Grinder, maybe both. I don't
Joe
know.
asking all the right questions out here.
Yep.
Yeah, maybe both. Good for you. Also, good for you, bro. Coming in with a follow. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good for you, bro. 8. Do you know the first 7 good for you, bros? Or is that
Just
do you guys like constantly send each other support every day, like a message of support? Like, good for you, bro. I don't know. Maybe I'm reaching there.
maybe it's a
You
reach.
should reach out. Maybe reach out though.
Let's get to the next one here. Welcome in. Good for you. Jets and Vikings. This is our first interesting change of week 5. All right. This game is not going to be along the normal slate that we've seen in the first 4 weeks, because this one will be over the pond. We got Tottenham, your boys, Scotty, the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium hosting.
Spurs.
So this hot, spicy.
It's spicy.
This will be a neutral site for both of these teams. The Jets, obviously, coming off that rough, not so great looking loss to the Denver Broncos, my Broncos, and then the Minnesota Vikings, who a lot of people see as the best team, if not one of the top teams in the NFL, at 4-0. So we got a 2-2 Jets, 4-0 Vikings here in this one over the pond. The Minnesota Vikings, 2.5-point favorites as we sit currently right now. And we also have an over-under set at 40.5. Money line, Jets plus 124, Minnesota minus 148. Sarah says, give me the Jets or give me death. So, you know.
I think she just said give me the Jets. There's nothing about death there, Chris.
I thought it was is that poetry or is that like history?
He was trying to be poetic.
Poetic, right? Is that
You were
poetry?
trying to.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Give me liberty or give me death, right? That's where we're. Yeah. Give me the under here, says Joe.
She just said give me the Jets.
Just give me
Common term used in describing who you like in a football game or any
Jets.
match between teams or individuals. Chris.
I'll take the Sharks.
Okay.
That's West. What? That was a
West Side Story.
West Side Story reference.
Yes. Keep
Roger,
referencing that.
Hey,
Has Rex seen it?
Rex.
is not. Rec, if you've seen that, I'm actually going to be pissed off.
Add it to the list. STG, add it to the list.
Add it to the list. Unreal, Rec. Get cultured, Rec.
God.
All right, let's get to this game. Obviously, little different atmosphere. Scotty, dive in.
Yeah. This makes so much more sense why the Jets were so flat last week. I guess I didn't realize last week that there was a London game already coming up in week 5 and that the Jets were involved with it. Feels like they might have been, with all the penalties and false starts, they were already on their way The offensive line were already moving towards London, Chris. They were already on their way. They didn't take the Broncos seriously. But this Jets team, to be honest, hasn't looked great outside of that Thursday night against the Patriots. And the Patriots make a lot of teams look pretty good, especially in the last couple weeks. So I worry about this offense for the Jets. It doesn't seem like that Aaron Rodgers, Garrett Wilson connection has come to fruition like they probably would have hoped right now. And then you have a Vikings team. I think, Chris, you said a lot of people think this is the best team in the league. I don't know about that. You could certainly say that they've played better than any team thus far this year, though. And that would be perfectly fine. Long term, I just don't know how it happens. The defense for the Vikings doesn't have a lot of pieces that scare anyone. Sam Darnold is their quarterback. I know they've played tremendous football. I just don't know how long this continues for the Vikings. Not to say they can't be a solid team, but elite, I just don't see. I can't see it. So when does it end? I really don't know what's going to happen in this game. I think a lot of people, I imagine without knowing, Chris, and maybe you have it in front of you, are laying money on the Vikings this week after watching the Jets last week, and a Vikings team that's 4-0 and looked very good doing it, which makes me lean Jets in a very low total. 40.5 is a very low number, so they're not expecting a lot of points. I'd probably take the Jets and points in this one, and part of me maybe just wants the Vikings to lose so that if the Chiefs win, they can be the last undefeated team, Chris. So selfishly, I'm looking at that as well.
Full picture, I like it.
Yeah. I'm just, honesty is important here, but I don't know what's going to happen in this game outside of I do think it's going to be a low scoring, kind of ugly affair.
Yeah, you were spot on with how I feel about this one. A lot of we talked about a few of these teams being overvalued after their last win, or what they've done so far this season. We talked a lot about that with the Ravens and kind of, fading them this week. We all talked a lot about how, some of these you got peaks and valleys with certain teams. Jets are coming out of a valley with the Broncos loss last week. Vikings are sitting on the top of the world at 4-0. And I just feel like there might be a little bit extra just over evaluation of the Vikings. I'm with you. Like, I keep wanting to say this is the week the Vikings fall short. But I think if I were to make this bet, this was 3 earlier on the week. It dropped down to 2.5. I would have liked it at 3 for sure. I probably would lean still towards the Jets at 2.5 as well, getting the points. But it's going to be, Sam Darnold revenge game. I don't know. Well, we'll see. But Jets rank first in net yards per pass attempt. So, I don't know. There's just some weird thing. They need to win this game because coming up, they have kind of a tougher schedule. They got the Bills, the Steelers, they got the Texans after the Patriots. And honestly, the Patriots game is the only game where they've really kind of shown out, and it was against a bad Patriots team. So, yeah, I think that this is more of an important win for the Jets, and they're going to play a little bit harder knowing what they just got out of last week. So,
come out pissed off after that game last week. Then maybe just leave him in London.
That's the thing. That's the toughest thing, though. Like, what's tougher than having such a terrible loss, but then having to fly all the way across the world to go play it for 9:30 in the morning for us here? It'd be at 9:30, but obviously we know it's not there. But I think this is a game where Minnesota is just going to come out and just. I think the Jets are going to be lagged. I just think that this is a game where you give me the Vikings straight up, and I think that there's not. Look at them. Look at the Jets last week. Couldn't run the ball, couldn't throw the ball. Yeah, I get the weather, but they're just a mess. They haven't looked great. And the Vikings, Sam Darnold looks like Patty Mahomes of 2019. So, he's balling out 11-3 touchdown to interception, averaging 233 yards a game, which isn't great, but passing yards are down this year. And I just think that this is a game that Minnesota is going to want to come out and just like you said for the Jets, they want to make a statement. I think Minnesota wants to make a statement, especially that defense, that they're for real.
I just think, if everybody is so high on Minnesota winning this game, the line hasn't changed. It's been stuck at 2.5. It was 3, and then it was now 2.5. So I feel like this is a game, and let me double check here where it says the public is fully on currently the Minnesota Vikings. 85% of the public's on the Minnesota Vikings. 82% of the money is on the Jets. So it's interesting when it comes to the point spread. So you look at the public and all the money when it comes to the money line. 88 and 94% on the Vikings. It just feels.
This is just a game that if I was betting though for real, I would probably avoid it just because of all the things. I wouldn't touch it. But for me, I think Minnesota's going to win, but it's just going to be one of those. Ooh, I don't know.
It's a trap.
It feels trappy.
Exactly.
It feels trappy.
Exactly.
It's just if anyone in the chat without looking could name 3 players on the Vikings defense, I'd be shocked without cheating. The Vikings defense doesn't. Harrison Smith, fine, because he's been there for 130 years. Beyond that, it's like, who? Byron Murphy, which a lot of people may not know because didn't start there.
Good night, peace and grease.
I mean, he wasn't.
Thank you so much, peace and grease. Appreciate you being here. We'll be back live Sunday if you're looking for football content. Sunday night football. Make sure you're back here 9:30 Eastern. But yeah, Minnesota's a great team. I think they're a good team. I'm just not sold on them being as elite as their record indicates. I feel like, but I don't know.
They're not elite.
No, they're not
very good
elite.
football,
They're just playing good.
Yeah.
I mean, considering
we all agree.
Your second leading receiver is literally Aaron Jones. So
yeah.
They will add to that wide receiver core eventually, right? What's his name?
You would think. Addison?
Who's there?
Addison?
Yeah, Jordan Addison. He's like suspended. He's suspended, right? Stephon Gilmore didn't know he was there.
Marie can't name anyone.
I mean, he wasn't that good in Dallas last year. He was okay. Is Addison? Oh, is Addison back now?
yeah, Addison's back.
He got. Oh, it was 4 games. So I couldn't remember how long his suspension was. So. All right.
Well, there you go.
They'll have their number 2 wideout now, but I'm still leaning Jets in this one.
Yeah, feels weird. Feels trappy. All right, let's get to the last game of our slate here on a Wednesday night.
First game,
which is the first game of the week. Yeah, we saved the first game for last. Figure that one out. But Tampa Bay Buccaneers are the team that we will be covering here, and this will be a nice little NFC South divisional matchup. Bucks at Falcons. Currently, let's see. Whoa! Sleazy!
Thank you for the raid.
Let's go, Sleazy!
I got it.
My man.
Appreciate that, Sleazy. Thank you so much for popping in. Good to have you here. How was the stream? How are you guys doing? Shout out to Sleazy. Welcome in, everybody. My name is Chris. This is Scotty down below. We are your hosts for the ActionLab sports channel here on Twitch. We are live Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Sunday nights. We talk sports. We have fun. We're breaking down all the Week 5 NFL games. If you're interested, hang out with us. We're on our last game, but we're going to be uploading the rest to YouTube later. So it's great to have all of you here, and definitely hang out. Enjoy some sports talk. What's up, Sleazy?
Sir. Let us know who your teams are.
Yes.
Where you're from.
Yes.
Love to have you join in the chat.
Who are the teams that you root for? Sport, any sport, NFL, NBA, baseball, whatever you got. I'd like to get to know you guys. So we're breaking down Tampa Bay at Atlanta. Atlanta 1.5 point favorites at home. Money line for them -134. Over under total set at 43.5 for combined points. Why are the Giants terrible? You might want to stick around, Planet Neutral. We have actually 2 or 3 Giants fans in the chat. You might want to stick around. We have some good.
It's a rule,
Ish.
but also, are they as bad as we think they are?
Yeah, they.
I say no.
Yeah.
And that doesn't come from a Giants fan by any means. Sleazy, what are 3 locks against the spread this week? We're gonna right after this game. We'll actually post. Chris and I both have our best
bets.
4 bets of the week. You'll see our record. We've been on fire, so they're definitely locks.
We're actually doing well. 60% on the season. That's
Are
good
we?
From a betting standpoint. We're both the same record. 60% betting on the season. 6 of 10. Yeah.
I'll take it.
We're that's where we're at. That's where we're at.
Chris has never let us down with math.
No, never. I mean, math whiz over here. All right, let's dive into it. Scotty, jump in. Let's break down.
You, Planet Neutral, for giving the Shaq shimmy
and
the follow. Appreciate you. Thursday
night football.
Falcons. Thursday night football on Prime tomorrow night. Falcons favored by 1.5 in a game that's going to be huge. Bucks hot start 3-1. Like my son was asking tonight as I was talking about the game tomorrow. My 7-year-old son, he's like, "Oh, who the Bucks beat and lost to?" And I'm like, "Well, son, it's a little confusing. It doesn't really make sense. They beat the Commanders. Commanders only lost. They beat the Lions. Lions only lost. They beat the Eagles. The Eagles have another loss, but 2-2 and lost to the Broncos. Figure that. I can't explain it, son. The Bucks come in 3-1, playing good football, minus week 3 against a Falcons team that and they got a win last week. After 0-2 start, they have won 2 straight to get to 2-2. And I keep waiting for the Falcons to have a dominant performance. I mean, they're fascinating. Or maybe they're 2-2. I know that. I'm thinking the Falcons was that the Chiefs in week 3? I can't even remember now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
My bad. Either way, they're 2-2. But haven't looked, even in the Saints game, kind of back and forth where they got a last-second field goal from Koo that put them over the top in a game that could have gone either way. I'm waiting for them to be dominant offensively, and we just haven't seen it, Chris. It's the most bizarre thing ever. You have 3 skill player weapons that have all been taken in the top 10 picks of the first round, and now they just hand it off to Tyler Algier instead. And it kind of worked last year. And then, Ray McLeod and the wide receiver they got from the Bears. Why am I drawing a blank on his name? Darnell Mooney. I was going to say Maroney, and I'm like, I know that's wrong. Darnell Mooney are the 2 players that seem to get the ball pass catching wise, and then they hand it off to Tyler Algier. So figure that out. This should be a really interesting game, though. I think short week, Falcons, they got to get this win, right? But Bucks, they've looked pretty good. I think they're lucky to be 3-1. That Lions game, they got outgained by about a couple hundred yards and still came away with a win in that one. But they dominated a Eagles team. They got up very big early and kind of rode. It got a little close after it got to a 2-score game, but that was only after a blocked extra point by the Bucks was returned for a 2-point conversion by the Eagles last week. So I don't have a really strong feeling in this one. I think it'll be fun to watch. I like this as a Thursday night game. I think these are the 2. Well, actually, there's 3 pretty decent teams in the NFC South when you throw the Saints in there as well.
Never thought I would ever hear that.
A division we love to make fun of for being so bad.
Yeah.
I want Atlanta to win based off of I have them in a wins pool, but I don't have a great feel on this one. I wouldn't bet it either way.
Yeah,
you're supposed to be the ATL lab. What the heck?
I know. My bad.
And I'm going against them here too. Well, not 2, but here's what I'm doing with this one. We got a primetime game, and we have 43 is an average total or so. But still, I think the unders in primetime, typically, especially on Thursday nights, tend to be a little bit more common. So here's what I'm doing. I'm thinking this is going to be a somewhat close game, maybe a grindy NFC South game. I'm teasing up the Bucks.
You've used the word grindy a lot tonight.
Well,
and I'm here for it.
Well,
I'm here for it.
you were talking about grinder for Rec, and
We
you
were.
know.
We were.
So now at this point, it's just in my head.
Watch your mouth, Rec.
It's
Yeah.
This will be a nice little
watched it.
matchup. So I think it'll be close. By the way, 4 of the last 5 visits to Atlanta, the Bucks have won outright. Atlanta 4 for 10 in the red zone, ranks 21st in EPA per play. I think Atlanta could win this game, but do I think they win by a lot in a Thursday night game? I don't think so. I think this is going to be closer than people think. I think the Bucks will cover. I teased them up, so I do have them at plus 7.5 in this, and that's all they got to do. They just got to keep it close, but Atlanta still has a pretty good chance to win this game at home. Kirk Cousins, I think, is still trying to get in rhythm. I don't think it's fully locked in on his attacking, on his offensive game plan. So, I mean, Kyle Pitts is invisible, so that's the thing. But
speaking of attacking, is there a demon in the background?
No, that's just Rec in his hotel room.
yeah, I don't know what
Got it.
Also, Falcons defense without leading
Pretty
tackler
close to the same thing.
Troy Anderson, their leading tackler, suffered a knee injury on special teams. He has 44 tackles, so he's out. Fellow linebacker Nate Landman already on the ER. So defensively, they have a couple things on the IR. Sorry, IR. So yeah, I think that this could be a nice place for the Bucks to just cover here for me.
Yeah, I mean, I look at this. I think I would take the Bucks plus 1.5. But two things here. Can they actually give the ball to Bijan and him? If he actually has a monster game, I think they can win. As Tampa is 25th against the run right now, averaging about 96 yards a game, I believe. That's going to be my decision here. Is can they finally let him get it together, get it going, give him 15, 20 touches? Can they be successful in that? Can they get the ball to Pitts? Can they do what they need to do to win and not need like a 60-yard field goal to win after they nearly blew that game last week? And also, is Baker going to regress at some point, or is he going to be able to help this this offense out? Because are they hurt at running back? Isn't one of their running backs hurt? Isn't White hurt? Somebody.
He's banged
Okay.
up. He's not 100%.
Right.
Fair.
Right, he's not going to be 100%.
Bijan's also dealing with a hamstring issue that it
Right.
sounds like he's going to play, but may not be full go either. So we'll
Right.
see.
So this is just going to be another one of those games, man. It's going to be one of those Thursday night games. It's going to be 9-6.
It might be.
I hope not. Who's the Falcons OC right now? Yeah, no, former Oklahoma State quarterback, if I do say so myself.
Gamer boy, welcome in. Who's your team? Where are you from? Let's go.
I don't know if I'll have enough alcohol for this Thursday night
My
game
man.
and the Steeler game. So
Yeah,
we'll see.
you might need it. I'll be with you there. By the way, too, Bucky Irving for Tampa Bay. A lot of people picking him up on their fantasy leagues. 5.8 yards per carry early on.
Right.
He's doing well on the ground for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So getting some help on that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Rashad White was fine last year, but he wasn't anything special whatsoever. So it makes sense to give Bucky Irving a chance here, and he's taking full advantage of it. So
Yep. So there you go, guys. That is what we have for our previews. Guys, we go through these previews each and every single Wednesday leading up to the week. I don't really watch sports, so can't really say, but I appreciate you hitting that follow button. And you know what's great is there's a lot of people that, aren't super familiar with some of these sports, but they just have fun, just hanging out. And, we don't, it's not too super intimidating in this community. So don't worry, you're always welcome here, Gamer Boy.
if you're a gamer boy, you might notice the guy, if you're a gamer, on the screen now. Kyler Murray, maybe you played him in like Call of Duty or something before.
Hey, listen,
Yeah,
all
I
you
don't know
gotta
what his,
do.
I don't know
have-
what his name is.
you might
in
have-
Call of Duty.
Come across him on the sticks, you know?
Yeah.
Listen, just say ban wreck, and you'll fit right in. Don't worry.
That's true.
Um,
No, first one. It's the first one.
Wags, have you expressed thoughts on joining Gonzaga joining the Pac-12 or whatever they call it now? You mean the Pac State conference? Yeah, no, I think it's going to be awesome for the Zags. They don't bring a football team, so that's rough. For the Pac-12,
It's the Pac State.
The
You can
Pac-
just say it. It's fine.
Pac State conference, because
Well,
all
but they're
the
adding some teams that aren't state now, which I thought was against the rules.
It is against the rules.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make a
Gonzaga,
phone call in the
and
morning.
And I heard rumors of UTEP, but I don't know if that's been officially announced either.
Everybody's just leapfrogging.
yeah.
Doesn't even matter.
Oh, did UTEP go to the Mountain West? Yeah, I don't. I don't think it. I mean, it's an upgrade for Gonzaga, but probably not the upgrade as a Gonzaga fan or as a school you're hoping for. You were probably hoping for like Big 12. It'll be an upgrade, and they're not playing. I mean, Loyola Marymount and San Francisco and. Oh, Chris.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, that's actually really. I was confused, but I was like, I'm just gonna believe you, Chris.
He's just gonna run with it.
Chris, that's we're 6 out of 16, Chris.
Oh yeah, you're right. My bad.
Which I was wondering 6 out of 10.
No,
I thought you were just saying what 60% was because I
that's-
was like,
yeah.
I was like, well, we've had 4 weeks of 4 games, so
I
we've
saw
had
the-
16 games.
I saw the 6 and I saw the 10, the 1-0, and I was like, all right. It was just
Very,
the first thing
very
that.
It's all right. It's all right. We forgive you.
It's all right. It's fine. We're still on the up and ups.
See, this is why you're banned, Rick.
Let's get into it though. We have our best bet.
Good for you, bro. Yeah. Good. It's not good when good for you, bro, is saying that's bad.
I got you. I got you guys to hang out a little longer. That's it.
Yeah, it has been a rough start, but
Last year. Tell them what your last year numbers were.
Was it last year or 2 years ago?
2
that
years
were red
ago,
hot?
we were like
red hot.
68% or something. We were.
It was stupid how good we were.
It was
Yeah.
wild. How
Last year, I think we teetered around 500, and this year we've got off to a slow start. But I'm about to go 4-0, and I'll be 50%, Chris.
Yep.
50%.
there we go.
10-10. The one I haven't talked about, I've already talked about Arizona plus 7.5. Talked about Buffalo. Talked about my teaser. Giants, New York Football Giants, plus 6.5 against Seattle. A couple reasons here. You have, first of all, the Giants haven't been probably as bad as people think. You take away week 1 where they look like absolute trash. Lost a close one to the Commanders by 3. Lost a close one on Thursday night to the Cowboys last week. And now you have a team that played Thursday night facing a team that played Monday night in the Seattle Seahawks. Not to mention that Seattle has, I believe, a big game the following week. I can't think of what it is now. Yeah, that seems big. So you have on Thursday, right? That's the Thursday night game? Yeah, so you have a Seattle team that played Monday, now is going to have to play next Thursday, and now you have a Giants team coming in that they're going to overlook. I think the Giants keep this close. I think the Giants money line wouldn't even be a bad thing to sprinkle on. I know, but like, listen, there are a couple of Malik, and ironically, because Malik Neighbors has been fantastic, and it's sensation, like the storyline for the Giants. He's had 2 marquee drops, both against the Commanders and the Cowboys, where if he doesn't drop those, they could have won both those games, and you're looking at a Giants team that's 3-1. I know they're not a great football team. People make fun of Daniel Jones, and that's perfectly fine. I do at times too. But this is a great situation, extra rest against a short rest Seattle team that has to play then on Thursday in a spot. I love the Giants to cover 6.5 here.
All right, there you go. So yeah, Arizona plus 7.5, New York Giants plus 6.5, Buffalo -1, And your teaser, Las Vegas, up to 8.5. Dallas, plus 8.5 as well. You guys already know about Tampa Bay, Dallas. The rest we did we didn't cover the rest of these actually. So
No. None of these trash games that you want to bet on.
I am taking some weird games this week, by the way. By the way, shout out to Medic Gibby who cashed in. I hit a parlay last week, 4K on $25 bet. I'm stoked. Ravens might be my new favorite team. I would go that last sentence. You probably don't need
just
to
delete that last sentence.
That's
man.
gonna burn you. That's gonna burn you.
Where's
yeah.
that? Come on, man.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Yeah, that's you had us until that last sentence, but it's okay. You won some money. Congrats, 4K. That's not bad. Looks like you both took a visit to Splitsville, USA last week, a place I know all too well. We did.
Yeah.
2-2.
Overall records.
Yeah.
Yeah.